Hello, hello, this is Moon Ascension Tarot, coming to you with a little chit chat and reading for this full moon in Aries. Well, I can say personally that a few things have surfaced for me during this week. I say themes of childhood, things dealing with my roots, certain belief systems that I developed, or certain conditioning that went on during my childhood. You know, these issues came up for me. I remember having a dream and having the characters be people from my childhood, and me just feeling things that that I felt in my childhood. So the full moon, usually illuminates things being so bright in the sky. So I feel like it made me aware by illuminating these things that were kept in these I guess you could say like dark places, because I haven't dealt with these things, since my childhood. And since they were coming to the surface, it was like these issues were being illuminated. So it really made me think about, how we can have certain conditioning from our childhood and how that could limit our beliefs. And how it can just be so limiting for us. Some of us have the storylines of not getting, an adequate amount of love or support, so we feel as if we're not, so there's always like this feeling of insecurity when it comes to our self-worth. That can be how it's played out in our adulthood or adult life. So thinking about these childhood issues, it made me think about rebirth. We know that Aries is the first zodiac of the sign of the astrological zodiac sign. And it begins the wheel. It's the first. Pisces is the 12th, which ends the cycle. And it's like we get the option to go back to source or start at Aries again, which can be a new birth, a new beginning. So I feel like with this energy, we're being asked to think about what may be limiting. Well, what issues from our childhood, from our childhood, do we have to address? Have we really gotten to the root of our childhood issues? And how will we transmute these issues? How will we transmute these issues so that when so that from moving forward, we can really step into that warrior energy of Aries, stepping into that, the ambition of Aries. Stepping into that, I know exactly what I'm here to do, what I have to do, and I know what I want, and I know what how I'm gonna go get it, I know that I'm going to go get it. It's just, we may have limiting beliefs that keep us from tapping into these energies. So I feel like this full moon is definitely asking us to get to the root of any childhood issues that may be hindering to us moving forward in the way that we can, how long? I saw this photo yesterday off Facebook, and it says we must unlearn what we have learned because a conditioned mind cannot comprehend the infinite. And I just feel like that's right on point with dealing with these childhood issues, because of certain conditioning, certain ways of thinking, certain patterns that we created, in our childhood that affect our thinking. We have to unlearn these things. We have to unlearn the conditioning, so that we don't rob ourselves, from comprehending the infinite. With limiting beliefs, we limit our infinite. We limit our infinite. So we have to deal with these limiting beliefs, because everything is we can have anything that we want. If we really knew how powerful we truly are, we wouldn't be so concerned with a lot of the stuff that we are concerned with that keeps us limited. It's very important that we deal with these issues from childhood. I wanted to share that because I felt like that was instrumental. But I do want to pull some cards here for this full moon in Aries. It's currently what? It's 10:39. Some. So I'm gonna pull some cards for the collective. Guided messages for the collective. I will be using my Waite tarot deck. I also have my Mother Peace tarot deck, and I'll also be pulling Earth Magic Oracle cards. I thank you for life. I thank you for experience. I thank you for being able to connect. I thank you for awareness. I thank you for the collective. I thank you for knowing that I am one with the collective, and the collective is one with me. I thank you for shelter. I thank you for food to eat. I thank you for employment. I thank you for love. I thank you for family, and I thank you for friends. I thank you for this message, or messages, that you are here to relate to the collective. Anyone who finds themselves here at this moment, I thank you for relaying a message to us. Thank you. What messages do you have for the collective in regards to this full moon in Aries on this October the 13th, 2019? What messages do you have for the collective in regards to this full moon in Aries on this October the 13th, 2009? Six of Swords. I think the obvious thing is to walk away from what is no longer serving you. Swords has everything to do with what's going on inside our mental, what's going on inside our minds. And this is dealing with, I feel like the limiting beliefs. Maybe it's, you've been conditioned in your childhood to talk bad to yourself, to give yourself, to have negative self-talks. You're quick to self-sabotage, or you're just quick to doubt, you're quick to not believe. And that robs you of using your imagination and your mind as the tool that it's supposed to be used as. Our minds are a very powerful tool, but we can only tap into that power if we use the tools, and use these tools correctly. We also have the Nine of Wands. Nines represent endings. And I feel like up until now, there has been a lot of battles with ourselves and whatever limiting belief it is that you have. And seeing how these limiting beliefs have caused us to have to work harder in certain areas or aspects in our lives. but I feel like this is this is a completion of like a final challenge. I'm not even gonna say final, because there's always, as long as we're breathing, there's something to learn. So I'm not gonna say like this is gonna be the last battle, but I just feel like this is the last battle before we step up and go to the next level. That's what I feel like this is. I feel like this is I was just about to say like the last the last lap before you win the race. And we can say that excuse me, the last lap. And you know, during the race there's a lot of, you know, you have to pace yourself. You know, you just can't give it all your all and just run a race, you know. Sorry. You cannot just sprint throughout the race. You have to learn how to pace yourself, and you have to learn when to go and when to not go, and and when to sprint and when to chill out. Nine of Cups in reverse. I feel like this speaks to weapon of the 9. And even though it's in reverse, I feel like this 9 still signifies completion. I feel like with the cups and having water, they don't necessarily have to have water, but a liquid, so we're just going to say water. Water retains memory. And I feel like maybe this conditioning, you've gotten so comfortable in some of these beliefs or whatever condition it is that you have. Maybe you've grown so comfortable in it that you don't know exactly how to let this go. It could even be a situation where you enjoy the very thing that is to your detriment. But with this full moon in Aries, I feel like the full moon is here to illuminate anything that needs to be left behind on this level, because it's time to level up. And we have to really do some inventory, some life reviews. And really come to a decision about what really needs to be left behind. Okay, I have 3 cards from the Earth Magic Oracle cards. I have Iceberg, Submerged, Love, Compassion, Forest, Breathe, I feel like this clarifies the whole spread. The iceberg represents what is deep down inside of us, stemming from our childhood, stemming from our roots. Things that could be considered hidden within us because we have not dealt or gave the proper attention to these issues. And sometimes we just want to turn a blind eye to these issues, so we just kind of just stuff it down and it ends up being submerged, you know. But I feel like we have submerged, we have the iceberg, love, and forest. I feel like in this process of dealing with all that has been submerged, when we finally bring these things up to the surface, we need to do so with love and compassion. We need to cater to our inner child with compassion. If our inner child is in need of security, of support, of reassurance, of love, we need to do that. We need to give that to our inner child, and do that with love. It may be hard to let go of certain things. It will come with difficulty. You know, these are belief systems that we've held on to. I don't know how old you are, but, you know, depending on how old you are, we have held on to certain belief systems and certain limiting beliefs for so long that it's hard to detach or to sever the ties of, you know, something that you have held on to. And with this full moon in Aries, it's about releasing. We have autumn equinox, the release. In autumn, in autumn, you know, we see the leaves fall from the tree. It's about releasing and knowing that spring is around the corner. You know, we will do what we need to do to spring forth. But in this time, we're being asked to release. Release. Confront and deal with any, and get to the root of any childhood issue that could be holding you back in your today. This is Moon Ascension Tarot. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. And until next time, see ya.